Okay, so hello and welcome to episode 3?
Yes, episode 3.
3.
You can't possibly have lost count by now.
We've done so much in such little time. Anyway, episode 3.
Of Drink Along with Sweetchunks.
Yes, where we're going to get drunk on various things. I am on the gin today.
Just
and
make it a nice change.
They might change. And what have you gone for today?
I am on the cider.
Any particular cider?
This is Weston's.
Oh, yeah, very nice. But so we do the usual thing of talking inane rubbish to each other whilst getting slightly drunk, and you go at home can drink along with us. Today we've given ourselves a sort of theme, haven't we?
A kind of theme, I suppose.
Well, both of us found quite interesting stories about science recently. And sort of been chatting about science, but I
haven't really found an interesting story. It's just stuff that I loosely know. Focus on the loosely, because it's not exactly like I know it, and I could in fact be wrong. So this is not a trusted source.
No, definitely not. Definitely, citation is definitely needed with pretty much everything we say tonight.
Yes. So please do not take this as fact. It might be fact, but it also might be utter bollocks.
Probably utter bollocks. With some bits, it's anecdotal. So if you do find it interesting, go and double check, and then you'll probably find more interesting stuff.
The rest of it is gonna be just whatever comes off the top of our heads.
Yes.
In weird theory, the big universe.
Speaking of big things, there's one thing I wanted to... Yeah, we're going to get the innuendo out of the way quickly. I discovered something awesome. You know the Large Hadron Collider?
Yes.
They're planning to make a bigger one.
Dear God.
Even bigger.
It's like 24 miles
26.
26.
26.
It's over a marathon long.
Yes. Well, actually, 26 kilometres long rather than miles. So it is about 24 miles. You're actually right. I don't know why I said no.
It's over a marathon.
Fuck it. It's a marathon long. You think they would have just gone bollock? I know. Oh, it's all metric, clearly. So, but I would think it would be nice if they just made it a bit longer, just so it is a marathon. Anyway, the new one is going to be 100 kilometres long. That's the idea of the proposition for
Jesus, dancing Christ!
It's going to be fucking great. And do you know what they've decided they're going to call it?
No, please tell me it's something like the extra big. Large or the super massive Hadron Collider.
No, well normally they do the sort of label. It's called
huge Hadron Collider.
No, it's quite to the point. It's called the Future Circular Collider. But what is it when they use it? Is it the current?
Well, we're using this is the one we're going to make in the future, and we tried making a dodecahedron Hadron Collider, but it didn't work. Too many bastard corners.
So it's just, we don't like corners and you have to slow down, and we don't like making the protons slow down a bit. But the names of these Hadron Colliders are brilliant. I am using Wikipedia for this because I have not got a good enough memory, but these things are cool to remember off the top of my head. So we've got the first one was the intersecting storage rings.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was in CERN between 1971 and 84. And then they had the super proton synchrotron, which is a great name.
Oh, that's amazing! That sounds like something out of Fallout.
To be honest, it sounds like a rubbish car name. To be honest, it's the proton synchrotron.
Igor, fire up the synchrotron.
Yes, that was 81 or 84. And then there was one called Isabel, which I presume is an acronym.
No, I refuse to believe that. I like to think that it wasn't an acronym, and someone went, "What should we call it?" That's a fucking Isabel.
That's an Isabel if I've ever saw it. But it's I can't find the acronym for the thing. Oh, hey, hang on. No. Oh, it's an American. It was an American one that they tried to build. Hang on, in New York. They built it in New York and then they gave up on it because I do remember like in the 80s and the 90s, the Americans literally they were building colliders themselves.
Hang on. It's so seriously ass huge, massive, amazing, but likely exploding.
Yeah, that'll do.
Yeah,
Isabel. That's much better than that. But yeah, so the Americans wanted to build one, and then the literal argument for cutting the funding for like projects like Isabel and the other ones I'm going to name in a minute is because the Europeans will do one, and everyone was like, they actually said no, the Europeans will never make one. Suck on my Hadron Collider. Anyway, so they've got after that is Tevatron.
Oh, that's good.
That sounds like a Doctor Who villain. And that was in 1987 to 2011.
Do you reckon they come up with like the colliders' names? Like, no, if it doesn't sound like it can destroy the world, then we're not calling it that.
Well, the one after the next one has definitely got a world-destroying name out of it. The next one is quite another boring but cool. It's a cross between boring and cool. You know what I mean? It's sort of it's a bit. It's not beige, but it's like it should. Yes. it's a functional name. This is the relativistic heavy ion collider. Ion, by the way, not ions. They're not firing ions at each other.
It wasn't like the early heavy metal bands being squashed into a tiny space and fired out of a pipe.
This next track is by Iron Maiden, which we've condensed to the size of a sugar cube and are firing it over 3/4 the speed of light to see what they do when they hit anthrax full in the face. But the next one, this is the world-ending one. This is the superconducting super collider. Yeah, baby.
Yes.
Cancelled in 1993, though.
Oh.
But it's also the relativistic heavy ion collider. It's still going.
Really?
Yes.
Nice.
Yes. And then we got the big daddy, the LHC, the Large Hadron Collider at CERN. And then you got, of course, the Future Circular Collider, which is, when I saw a picture of it, it's literally got the tiny, the thing, it looked like 3 giant circles, well, 3 small circles and a bit of paper. And it's like, what's this small one? It's like, that's the Large Hadron Collider. But that's fucking huge. That literally goes in 2 different countries to fire ions at each other. Oh, sorry, beg your pardon. Protons and neutrons.
Just you wouldn't want to make a mistake
you
about
won't.
that.
Yeah, it's different colliders collide different things. Because you need the size space for the different things. I'm not 100% sure what the future circular collider is going to fire at itself. But I just know it's fucking huge. And I like that. I just like the idea of big, ridiculous science. But apparently the reason it needs to be bigger is so they can make smaller things and fire them at each other. So if that makes any sort of sense. You need more power to go to the smaller and smaller and smaller.
Yeah, that kind of makes sense. Yeah.
So I think the superconducting super collider, the super collider, was for protons. So like photons, beg your pardon. So it's light and stuff. They're bashing light together, and then get the bits.
I can do that with 2 torches. I don't need a collider.
That's what I thought. I think that's what is that what a collider is? It's just 2 fucking great big torches shined at each other.
Yeah, pretty much.
Awesome. But so Large Hadron Collider.
Oh, then they fire the torches at each other. See if they
from
can
cannons.
Yeah, pretty much.
Get it
They
faster.
see if they can improve the beam pattern.
If you fire a torch out of a cannon, does that mean it's going faster than the speed of light?
Depends on which way the beam's pointing.
The annoying thing is that I want to use that as a childish joke, but I can't help the fact that I do know the fact that it doesn't speed up the speed of light because I'm a twat. Well, not a twat. I just know how relativity works. It doesn't speed up the speed of light. Sorry to bring your hopes up. You don't care, do you?
No.
No, you really don't. Anyway, so the Future Collider is apparently going to be firing. I'm not sure. I want to know where but who's going to have this in their country? It's going to be amazing. So, all right. Hadron is protons, right?
Yep.
Okay, as we all know.
Sexy proton on protein
Sexy
action.
proton. And it's electron and positrons, which is a lepton collider.
Yep.
And a hadron-lepton scenario is what they're going to do at the super collider. So they're going to be firing protons at each other while apparently firing electrons and positrons. So the electrons firing each other is the basis of nuclear research, as in for nuclear energy. Protons is trying to get, that's where you get the Higgs boson and stuff like that, by bashing that. So apparently they're going to bash that while bashing it with electrons and positrons and beat the shit out of everything in science. And then I don't know what's going to come out of it. Tiny Brian Coxes or something just saying billions over and over again. But either way, it's going to be fucking huge and fucking massive.
I mean, the obvious thing to say there is, do you ever reckon that a drunk scientist has put something in the Hadron Collider? Like, guys, shh. Be quiet, Miss Mittens. Get in the... Dude, are you putting a cat in? Yes.
Yes, I am.
Get hold of the dog. I'm gonna make catdog. It's gonna be awesome. And then, boom. We should go.
We should leave now.
We should go now.
This is just like when Steve left his baguette in the thing. No, we can't just talk it away like we did with Steve's baguette. This is worse than that. We've created catdog. I always thought about catdog because you got the face and the face of a cat.
Where does the poo go? That's what everybody says.
No. Where did the arses go?
Well,
If you put it in a Hadron Collider and created them by colliding it, is there another version of catdog which is just a cat's arse and a dog's arse? Just wandering around aimlessly shitting on stuff.
I don't think colliding a cat and a dog in a collider is going to create anything other than a very big mess.
A very big mess. A very big scientific mess.
Which is like a normal mess, but with more notes and peer-reviewed.
It's a peer-reviewed mess.
Yeah. This is the biggest peer-reviewed mess ever. It was watched by over 17,000 scientists because Steve Facebook lived it whilst pissed.
I think more things should be peer-reviewed.
Well, yeah, most things are peer-reviewed. You walk down the street, you're getting peer-reviewed.
Really?
Yeah, it's called judging.
Oh, that's what judgment is.
Yeah.
So if you're at home, by the way, if you're being judged or have been judged recently, drink. I have to admit, like a fucking heathen, I am drinking my gin out of a plastic bottle.
Oh, god damn it.
Yeah, I had it pre-mixed. It was left over from one of our nights out, so I was drinking that.
We're meant to be upholding these standards of being posh, and you go, is that gin?
I think so.
Fuck it, that'll do.
It's in a Ribena bottle, but it's still gin.
Admittedly, I'm drinking cider from a can. I can't really throw any stones. I really should be. I should have decanted this and let it breathe for a little while.
Does that really count with cider? You have to let cider breathe.
Yeah, I don't know. It's the good quality like cider. It's like Barnstormer.
Oh, baby,
Yes.
White Lightning.
Oh, Frosty Jack.
Oh, Frosty Jack.
But, that's a good old Park Bench cider, that is.
That's the best enjoyed. It's like the tasting notes you get with wine. It's best enjoyed with a nice piece of lamb and a good bit of fruit. This is like Barnstormer. Best enjoyed on a park bench, preferably at about 11 o'clock at night on a summer's evening, before being moved on by the police.
You need to be between the ages of 13 and 17 to properly enjoy this beverage, despite the fact you have to be 18 to buy the bastard thing.
It's
And
apparent.
it actually has the only cider that comes out with notes on the side. It's like, in order to properly enjoy this beverage, you need to stand outside the local spa and wait, harassing most males that go past into buying you cider and possibly some fags.
Fags.
And you do this, you procure these services by waiting, and then when a suitable candidate walks past, go, oi mate, you buy some cider and some fags, and then hopefully they'll be like, well, I don't see why not, you curious young scamps. Go inside,
Why would you?
procure your alcohol and nicotine fixings, and then you go and find a park bench and sit there with your friends and have 4 sips, get horrendously drunk, be sick on yourself before one of your friends has to phone your parents to come pick you up or leave you there.
I've often thought, the offer that people used to give when you're like, can you go in the shop and get me some fags or some cider? And then quite often, because you're a child with barely any money, you just scraped it all together to buy the fags and booze, is that you don't offer the person anything. So what's the incentive for this person to do it, unless they just, for some strange reason, feel like, you know what, I want to see what happens when these kids get really, really fucked up. And then
That's a good point.
Yeah, and then people get
Because
really...
I've never done it. I've been...
I was about to say, because I didn't start drinking until I was about 19, because I'm old. But how did you get hold of your illegal booze when you were younger?
Mike.
He's fucking tall.
He's
isn't he?
really tall.
He's really
yeah,
tall
yeah.
and looks
So
good.
we used to send Mike and our other friend Phil into the shop because they
Big
were
beards?
tall. No, Mike, beard, come on.
I know, maybe Phil. I admit.
No beard. Wonderful moustache, though.
Oh, good work.
Of course.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, and we used to send them into the shops to get the booze. That was before any of this dratted thing 25. I remember when the cigarette laws changed to 18, I'd been buying cigarettes. I was 19 at the time, so it didn't really bother me. But I went in to the shop and asked for some tobacco, and I was told, do you have any ID? My response was, I have a beard.
Yeah, I've heard that.
And then he went, so, 18-year-olds have beards? I went, yes, but you have to be 16. And he went, no. And then he corrected me. This is one of those stories that goes nowhere.
That's quite good. I liked it. I enjoyed it. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
Well, I like the fact you can use your beard as a note piece of ID.
Well, I could do, because like, do you think a 16-year-old could grow this?
Or just crow's feet. Look at my they're not sad lines. They're
He's
lines.
look
They're
at
just
my
sad
sad
lines.
lines.
Look at my sad lines.
That
Would
was-
a child with hopes and dreams have these? Now sell me some fucking fags.
I want to die. That got a bit dark.
It did. Because that's the thing. Is like with smoking. I mean, it is the point where like, why do you still smoke?
Because
I'm not being that in a sort of like, why you still smoke, you wanker? It's sort of like, it's like, what? Because I get because like when I smoke cigars occasionally, because yes, I am a decadent fuck. I do it to sort of like at weddings or with a choice scotch, or when one of my enemies has fallen, then I smoke a cigar with a choice brandy.
Thing is, I don't even smoke cigars. I hate the bloody things.
You really do, which I found weird because I bought you one for your wedding, but you're like, no. But you had it was great. So all of you went, all your groomsmen were around like toozying a cigar like it was a blunt, and you were there with your roll out, just like this is fucking classy. And I think just one of the ladies came out and was like, what the fuck is going on here, and went back inside. So we were just chugging away like it looked like a bunch because we were all wearing like cravats and waistcoats. It looked like a bunch of 19th century industrialists. And every now and then we just heartily laughed at nothing because it was just a good thing to do. It's like, I'm in the mood for a laugh and a cigar. And some people just come out and thought, what's going on? So we're just smoking cigars and jauntily laughing. And it just disturb people. It's a good time.
Yeah, it's a good time. The best of times.
The best of times.
But yes, to answer your question, no fucking idea. Because the light at the end of my cigarette is like the one light of meaning in the bleak, dark hope that is existence. Slowly burning ever towards the inevitability of the ashtray of life.
I sort of get that with like the last bit of pizza.
Or I just quite like it.
You just got it, fair enough.
Yeah. I mean, I've tried to stop. I will be resuming my quest to stop at some point when I finally work up enough willpower. And work out how to continue to stop smoking without blaming Mike.
Well, the best way of getting willpower is you find as many wills as you can, grind them down to a fine paste.
No, this is exactly what we need the Large Hadron Collider for.
Yeah, let's collide some wills.
We stuff wills into the Hadron Collider. We stuff Will Harper into the Hadron Collider.
Get inside my collider, you slag.
What would we collide him with?
Maybe we get, like, Ben Harper.
I don't know Ben Harper. I know Ben Harker.
I know it's a problem. Well, Ben Harker accidentally had a gig where he was lined up as Ben Harker, and lots of people turned up to see him. And
very disappointed Ben Harper fans, yeah.
Ben Harper's a good folk musician.
Yes, Ben Harper is a good folk musician.
Yes.
Ben Harker is not.
No.
Ben Harker is a very good rock musician.
He's a very good friend.
A very good friend.
Yeah, maybe we should. Well, the two of them, I reckon.
He does actually have some new songs out.
Good.
Coming out.
Yeah, we should
as well.
put him on
This is technically a promotion
is it?
for him.
We should charge him.
We should charge him. Ben, if you listen to this, you owe me money.
Lots of money. Well, I just thought.
But for those people who don't know, if for the 4 people who listen to this, if you don't already know Ben, which you probably do, go and check him out. He's got some stuff apparently coming out. I saw on Facebook a little while ago at some point.
Probably on YouTube. We'll probably put the links up at some point ourselves. But I just thought, talking about colliders in a sort of a friendship building way, I reckon Ben and Will would get on really, really well.
They really would.
They really would. They should be
Unfortunately, they wouldn't get on They would get on very well, but for an incredibly short space of time, because they would be collided very fast. They probably wouldn't even get a hello off before they became one. Yeah.
Wait, hello.
I mean, how fast do things move inside the Hadron Collider?
I think it's 95% the speed of light.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, I saw Ben run once, but that was about it. Once, I mean.
Yeah.
That was it.
That was about, what, 1999?
No, it's 2004, I think.
Oh, you did later than that?
Yeah, in his heyday.
Oh, it's peak Ben times.
Peak Ben times.
Would that be his Ben Nevis times?
Admittedly, Ben is the kind of, like, he's pretty odd when it comes to in general. I used to live with him, and he once decided to wake me up. Bear in mind, I was dead asleep. I didn't even notice him come into the room. And set the scene. You're completely asleep. Mm-hmm. The next thing you know, you're woken up by your housemate jumping on your bed, saying, wake up, the house is sinking, we need to find London. You get out of bed, that is the first thing that's in your head. All you know.
How far down the street did you get before you realised he was fucking with you?
I can't even, I think I'm got halfway down the stairs, like with my trousers half on and maybe a shirt over one arm, going, shit!
I was bringing the taxi to the train station.
Okay, we need to go to London, where are we? We're in East London, we need to get to London. Why do I, what?
At least it's not as bad as being woken up by Charlie Brown.
Just in general.
Oh, no, wait. No, he sends you to sleep in a really weird way. But bouncing. You get bounced on quite a lot whilst trying to sleep.
Oh, that's when Charlie nearly broke my entire back.
He did.
After a night out, I was like, I'm going to sleep. Charlie was like, no, stay up and drink with us. And then jumped on me and every vertebrae in my back just clicked.
For people who regularly listen to us or have listened to us before, that was part of the weakness incident we mentioned last time. Wasn't it?
Yeah, it was actually the precursor to all the vomiting.
Before we started going to town on the tequila, I get because he wanted you.
I had a few shots.
You had a
and
few.
Then went, no,
he wanted you to
bed.
keep drinking the tequila.
Yes, he did.
He tried, failed to get you out because you just.
It's like one of the only times in my entire life I've ever shown restraint.
Yeah, say restraint.
I still got blamed for the vomit.
Well, because you were weak and we decided to blame it on you.
No, it's funny because I said any more of this stuff and I'm going to be sick.
If I wanted to pin the blame on Mike, I need a stepladder because he's fucking huge.
Yeah, it was Mike.
I know it was him, but it takes a long time to pin anything on him because he's so tall.
That's true. We did get sent a picture of Mike wearing a top hat earlier today.
It was glorious. He should wear that.
He should, but he's going to be like 17 metres tall.
He's going to look like someone got like Ismar Kingdom Brunel and stretched him.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like over one of his bridges. You'd be able to use Mike as a bridge if you laid him down.
You already can.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, Mike is actually part. Mikes are included in the royal Corps of Engineers like service pack. Well, they have
two
them,
mics laid, just lowered down
and
over
there's a tank rolling across. Yeah.
Well, before, without the top hat,
Thanks, Mike. No problem.
like before, before the top hat, Mike could easily ford the Thames, but now we're talking Humber
Yeah.
at high tide.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, Mike is enrolled in several safety precaution in kind of programs. He gets sent to like not war torn, but like environmentally impacted countries. He is actually used to aid relief efforts to get people out, especially with flooding. Mike's very good in floods. If he puts his arms down, he can act like a suspension bridge.
Yeah. Do you remember that time when he was on his gap year? He was the North Pole for about 6 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, he was literally the pole. They just hammered him into the ground and spun the earth on him.
So if you could imagine, like, the world rotating round with Mike's happy, glorious face just sticking out of the North Pole with a hat on, a little bubbly hat with his cheeky little grin. That's basically what the world was like.
Rolly hanging out.
Yeah. All right, guys. You just like this before you go. Off he went. He's happy. He loved it.
Yeah, he did.
He said he really enjoyed that.
He did. I mean, Mike, I think he does look back. He doesn't talk about it much, but he does look back fondly on his time being the North Pole.
There's no talking about it much. There's not much you can really talk about. I was at the North Pole. I was the North Pole. I span around for a bit. I had a fag. It's not really, a massively interesting story.
No,
it's great.
It's quite
once you get
cold.
told about it.
Did you see some? I can't remember. No, he saw some polar bears.
He did.
Yeah, no penguins though.
No penguins there on the south.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's where the landmass is. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. So.
Oh, go back to the sciencey thing.
Yes. This is what happens when we try and have a topic.
We're having a topic. We came back on it. It's great. It's fine. There's still plenty of time to discuss the thing. I found out that NASA, due to... I don't know why they're possibly doing this right now. They've decided suddenly this is a great time to just do this. But they've decided that all of the information, all of the discoveries they've made in the last 30 years, I think it is, that because they're a civilian organisation, they're not tied to the American military. They've always been set up as civilian. So technically, they don't have anything that's really classified because they're not the government, they're not the army. They don't do military research. They get given stuff.
Yeah, which is why it was quite easy for them to declassify stuff and to make the documentary of when they sent Bruce Willis to the asteroid.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It was straightforward stuff. Because, I mean, they were quite open from the start. And, Bruce Willis was...
And I mean, they actually voiced their doubts. And, like, they said we should send real astronauts. Why don't we just train them to be miners rather than send actual drillers?
Because surely drilling a fucking hole in the ground filled with oil is less complicated than
the problem
being a
was,
fucking astronaut.
The problem was Aerosmith had already written the song by that point. And they realised that it's done. Fuck it.
Have a little tighter in it.
Fuck it. Just do it. Just do it. And
100%.
that's why Ben Affleck died on that. No, wait, he survived. Bruce Willis died on that.
Yeah, well, spoiler.
Sorry, spoiler alert.
What is it? A spoiler if it's a documentary?
It's a doc. No?
No, I don't think it is. Well, anyway, so NASA have released all of the findings they have made for the last, I think it's 20 to 30 years. From all their space probes, all the scientific experiments they've done on Skylab, all the stuff they've done on the International Space Station, and just made it open source. They've given it out. I'm not sure what could have possibly recently in international affairs, like particularly with American budgetary going on or particular whatever, but some things spooked them a little bit. Like they're really worried that someone's going to cut all their funding or give it to a certain other country, but I got this image in my head of when this was happening. Just sort of ESA is just sort of hanging out in it because they're people, just like a person. Like ESA's just playing with some toys and talking about building itself a rocket to travel to the moon, which is fucking awesome, by the way, and various other things, and putting Tim Peake back into space, which I'm really excited about.
You have a massive man crush on that guy.
I do. He's fucking great. But anyway, we'll get back to Tim in a minute. But yeah, like there's just it's late in the night and NASA just comes in. It's raining. It's a dark time. She comes in. Because I think NASA is clearly...
NASA's the mum.
Clearly the mum of all space organisations. And she's a bit tearful. She won't say why, because she's not that kind of lady.
Apparently Soviet's the dad.
Yeah, I reckon that. They are the daddy of space.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. And there's no doubt, they're the daddy. A bit of an angry, slightly aggressive, drunken daddy who doesn't tell the truth the entire time, but he's still the daddy of space.
Yeah.
So the mum comes in. She's a bit tearful. She's not going to mention why she's upset, because she's a classy lady. But she just gets all of her paperwork, gives it to ESA, and just says, just go and stay with your cousins, the Chinese. Just don't say anything.
But why, Mum?
Just go. I love you.
But what?
Take the
what
Canadians
happened?
with you. They build excellent
What's
robots.
happened?
I can't tell you right now, but you just go to the moon. You go to the moon. You go to Mars. You fly another asteroid. You fly another space probe onto an asteroid with a guy with a really, really garish shirt and let it get blown out of complete proportion. But the fact that he still landed a spacecraft on a fucking asteroid. But you go out and live your dreams. Then just hear. Oh, your father's home. Run! And she just runs off into the night. Because whilst, like, you know, NASA's shitting itself for some unknown reason, and the Russians have strangely, they're not investing as much as they used to in space. In fact, they're looking at maybe pulling out the International Space Station maybe like closed down sooner than they thought. Not like next year or anything.
Yeah.
But a lot sooner than they first planned. But they might end up going, they have to keep it out there because the Russians haven't got any replacement for their space vehicles. The Americans haven't got any replacement stuff either. And the only people who have replacement stuff or investing in it is ESA.
And the Indians.
Yep. Indians, ESA, and China are currently going, let's build our own stuff. Why? Because we don't want to rely on NASA and the Russians anymore. And so it's really an exciting time for space exploration and stuff. But like with Tim, who I have such a massive man crush on because God, he's amazing. I keep on thinking whenever I saw him going into his little cheeky grin going into space, I was saying to you earlier, it's like I'm like a child, like I'm 7 years old, and he's like, if he did it when I was 7, he would be like a god to me. I'd have posters on my fucking wall. I'd be like following him around. I'd probably live in the bushes outside of his house.
I thought you did.
I did for a bit.
That's the reason he went to space, Stuart.
Yeah, I know.
He didn't even want to be an astronaut. He just wanted to get away.
Yeah, I know. Most people do. But the thing is, I only did that for about a week. But if I was 7, it would have been pretty much... I'd still be in that bush right now. Saying, Tim. So yeah, he's going back into the International Space Station. Again, not sure why he would want to leave the planet all of a sudden. But he suddenly decided, I'm going back to space.
Absolutely nothing has happened to make someone want to leave the planet. That's an absurd idea. Although coming through that from something I read a little while ago on an article, I think we mentioned it slightly earlier, is the fact that for some reason the American state of Ohio has more astronauts than anywhere else in the world. What is it about Ohio that makes the people that live there want to leave not just America or the state, the planet.
The planet.
They want, like, I am getting away from Ohio. Berlin is not far enough. I am going further. Australia? No, still not quite far enough.
I need to leave the
I need to
atmosphere.
leave the moon.
Let's
I'm
get
going to the moon.
But it's like, because I was talking to you before about, like, because most people's, like, heroes in space, particularly like Buzz Aldrin, Michael Collins, and you know, Neil Armstrong, that guy who bounced on the moon and stuff. I've always loved the guys from Apollo 13. Yeah. Because I just love that story, like Jim Lovell, Fred Hayes, and Swaggart, because it went wrong. But I've always loved the way they get away with it. They sort of, you know, they carried on regardless of how terrifying it was. But it's like we were saying before,
Northern astronaut.
That's the future, mate.
Yeah.
Houston, no. Oh, I forgot. This is a brilliant thing that I don't think you know. Do you know where British, the original idea for when we had our own space program, but not the modern UK space agency, which is part of ESA, but an independent British, like it would have been like the Royal Astronaut Organisation. They didn't actually fully have a name because they were technically building our nuclear defence, and also at the same time, whilst you're building intercontinental ballistic missiles, you might as well make spacecraft.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's literally the attitude. And they built an actual rocket that could have gone into space and tested it, but it was actually, the funding was cut before they launched it.
Right.
Literally, it was ready to go, and they cut it. But the fair play to the guys, they just went, all of them, the entire staff team, fueled it up and just sent it anyway to prove that it could be done, even though the government went no. Because at the time, the government, strange enough, were paying for the NHS. So it's either spaceships or universal healthcare. It's one of those difficult things. But it's like, just sent. Well, nowadays you might as well have sent the rocket. But anyway, do you know where mission control would have been for Britain?
Please tell me it was Devon.
Better. Ventnor. So if we had a north, So if we had northern astronauts, Ventnor, we have a problem. You know, it would have been.
What is it? No. No, yes, so we can see we've got some errors coming up on the screen there. You appear to have an issue?
Yeah. Have you tried turning it off and on again?
I'm sorry. I cannot understand a word that man is saying.
It's not working, boy. Things don't come out. All the core's not got all the fireboxes broken. It's not even. I mean, looked at gauges. No. It's just your fuck it bollocks. Sorry, what?
I'm sorry, could you say that again?
Whole thing fucked. Absolute bollocks.
Right, you're going to need to be a little bit more specific. Control. No, I'm Control.
Yes.
Right. So, what?
What would it be called?
Yorkie 1.
Yorkie 1.
I'm sorry, Yorkie 1, you're showing some error readings.
HMS Freddie Flintoff. Oh, what's it? I found just before brilliant names of spacecraft. Right, I found out what Apollo 16. I was telling you before was one of the first times they actually. Well, second time they sent up the lunar rover. So you land on the moon. That's great. You get out and walk on the moon. That's fucking great. We brought a car. So let's go karting on the fucking moon.
It's like, what can make this better? Well, last time we went to the moon, it's like, the moon is a lovely place to go on vacation. There is lots of room for activities. The only complaint I have is that I had to walk everywhere. Now, with the reduced gravity, it wasn't that hard to walk anywhere, but it still was a bit unpleasant. Dear Thomas Cook.
How could you improve?
Sorry,
your cat is destroying everything.
So, dear Thomas Cook, I would like you to make the public transportation on the moon a little bit better. So, and then they sent a car.
They sent a car. Why not?
It's the most American thing, or the most human thing I've ever heard in my life.
Oh, this moon landing is majestic. It's a beautiful thing. Let's go drag racing.
Please, I want to know that they did that at one point. Someone's went, you know what, fuck it. Checking over his shoulder for police. Floor it.
No, the funny thing was they actually were not looking for police, but they decided we're going to floor this. They did all the usual tests and drove to an area, did all the scientific experiments, and they actually, I think it was the guys from Apollo 16, sent a message back that just basically said, we've done all the testing, can we floor this? Admittedly, flooring was about 7 miles an hour, but they were like, we didn't want to go too fast in case it shook it to bits. And the guy who built the loom buggy went, guys, I would be offended if you did not try and floor it. So, yeah. So there's just this thing. You can imagine these massive bulky spacesuits and your massive bulky lunar buggy bouncing around and just sort of having a whale of a time at 7 miles an hour. Terrified the thing might shake itself to bits and you'll all die. But fun. But anyway.
I believe that's where the inspiration for 50 Cent's In the Club came from. Just they're driving on the moon surface, go bunk, 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 bunk.
I'm on the moon, motherfucker, on the moon.
Bunk, bunk, bunk.
Moon. Oh, do you want to know the name? Because Apollo was the eagle.
Yep.
And the Apollo 13 was Aquarius.
Yep.
Do you know what they called the command module for Apollo 16? Casper. Casper, the friendly spacecraft. It's like, sometimes they are great at coming up with names of things, and sometimes they just suck balls.
And on that note, those at home, please finish your drinks now, as we have
actually
managed to keep this down to half an hour-ish.
Yeah. I might not even edit this and just put this out as it is.
Yeah.
That's quite good. Anyway, so we've had our little half an hour talk about insane rubbish. If you enjoyed it, do comment, blah, 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 share, blah, 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 the usual sort of stuff you're meant to do.
Anything you want us to talk about? Or anything you'd like us to do? Once again, please comment, let us know.
We're going to use our, if you want to get in contact or anything, use our Sweetchunks Band Twitter page, which is at SWChunks, or just search the Sweetchunks Band. Of course, on Facebook, got the Sweetchunks Band, blah, 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 blah. And email us.
If you know one of us, flag us down in the street.
Yeah, just wave wildly and scream like an otter. But something interesting.
Otter scream. Okay.
Also, something strange has been going on. I've been speaking to some chums at festivals, and I may have accidentally created a podcast tour.
Hooray! Hooray! We've done this 3 times!
Yeah, I know! We're going to do it at least 5 more times, because 5 festivals are going to let us talk.
So at some point we're going to be doing this at least 5 times live?
Yes.
Okay.
And it also means that you lovely people, if you join in with us and enjoy this, you can come and see us do it live and be in the audience and yell random things at us and have us talk stuff. And we're going to have guests on this tour as well.
Will be a lot more drinking at festivals.
A lot more drinking.
It will be a rigorously enforced drinking regime.
Yes.
So bring along your drinks and be prepared to drink them.
So, until next week, we're going to keep trying to do this thing regularly.
Yes.
Next week, the theme will be mollusks. It won't, but it'll be something. Thank you very much for listening, and goodbye.
Goodbye.